Hello, everyone, and welcome to The Reality Is. My name is Alicia.
And my name's Sanjana.
And before the show starts, we like to let the viewers know that the opinions that are expressed on the show don't necessarily reflect the opinions of Ghost Luck Productions. They're our opinions and ours alone. And we have a sponsor.
Yeah, so thank you to Siri Honda for sponsoring us, and please do connect with them. They are located on 152nd Street and Fraser Highway, and you can also find them on their website, which is surihonda.com.
Perfect. Okay, well, let's get started with the show. How are you doing, Sanjana, first of all?
I'm doing good. I'm excited to film today.
Yeah.
And this topic is really neat. So.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh, totally. So yeah, what are we talking about today? We are talking about, and this is a big buzzword these days. We're talking about mindfulness today.
Mm-hmm.
And not just in general terms. We're going to go really specific this week, and we're going to talk about a specific strategy, which is called grounding. So yeah, we really want our viewers to know about this, but to be able to use it right away in their lives. So that's what the plan is for today, and our aim as well.
For sure. Yeah. And like you said, mindfulness is the word that's used so often.
Yes.
I heard this so often in school. And I wasn't really familiar with this term before, but it seems like a really good way of coping with stress.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, so it's basically bringing attention to kind of your internal and external experiences,
mm-hmm.
and kind of trying to experience things, I would say, in the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then this kind of is including awareness about your sensations, your consciousness, your bodily state, your environment, and just kind of trying to stay in the present moment. So I think you can kind of replenish your mind and, really just relax at that moment and not really have your mind worrying about, the future or the past, or stressed about those things that you can't control.
Yeah. And you know what? This is different from relaxation, I think, because relaxing is just kind of it's just something you to kind of ease the stress and to kind of, maybe even distract yourself or ignore what's really going on. But mindfulness is really the opposite. It's just getting in touch with what's really going on in your body. And actually, when you're becoming more aware of that, you actually learn more about yourself. So that's what the difference is, viewers. Yeah. So let's go into grounding. It might be a new word for some people. I know that it was for me. When we talked about doing this show, we were talking about really unique things that we can talk about, and this definitely came up very quickly for us. So what is grounding? So I guess I can start. So it's basically it's a particular type of mindfulness strategy, and what it does it's designed to ground you, so that you can immediately connect to the present moment, which is similar to mindfulness, obviously. And it's used in a way to cope with flashbacks, or dissociation, when you have PTSD or anxiety or a panic disorder. So when that happens, we want to get in control of our bodily state, which might be, we might have high blood pressure, we might be breathing heavily. What else? We might be sweating. So of course that's really painful, and it tells us that we're not doing good. So grounding actually brings us back into the present moment so that we can take control of those sensations.
For sure. And one thing I've noticed, I'm not super familiar with grounding, but with mindfulness, it's just something that you can use anywhere, even in school, or when you have to pay attention in class, or when you're stressed about something. And like you said, it's about being in the present moment, because when you give yourself that time to relax, you're actually able to cope with stress better and actually handle the problems that may be in your life better if you just give yourself that time to kind of relax and rejuvenate. So yeah.
And one of the main things about mindfulness and grounding is like being non-judgmental and accepting it. So that's the thing, you're not running away from any of this. You're literally like, hey, this is what's going on. Okay, let's ground ourselves and let's move forward. So yeah, that's why I like this topic. So again, when is it used? We kind of already talked about it. It can be used for specific disorders,
For sure.
but then it can also be used when you're having a panic attack or you're feeling really anxious in your room for some reason. Yeah.
We've all been there.
Oh, heck yeah. So just like a quick sciencey little tip first lesson. So basically we have like in our nervous system, we have the autonomic nervous system, and it's made of two branches, and they work opposite of each other. So one is the sympathetic nervous system, and the other one is the parasympathetic. And so what happens is the sympathetic nervous system, it releases energy, and then parasympathetic, it's kind of like it governs like relaxing and recuperation and digestion. And so when stress networks are activated, when threats, which are real or imagined, when they're perceived, then activity in these networks, they respond in a heightened alertness towards the stimuli. And then we engage in like self-protective behavior. So that means, maybe a heart rate, it might be high blood pressure. It's kind of like preparing us to like fight for the situation, which could be real, or it could actually not even be apparent. It might not even be a real thing. And so then that's where we get overwhelming feelings of anxiety, fear, alarming, and then it triggers the person to engage in behaviors that reduce activity in the nervous system. So that's why this is all important, because the act of intentionally activating the relaxing response, which is from the parasympathetic nervous system, it counteracts the activation of the sympathetic nervous system in favor of the parasympathetic nervous system. So what I'm trying to say is that we are trying to trick our brain. We're trying to get control of the sympathetic nervous system, and we're trying to use our parasympathetic in favor so that we're going to be more relaxed. So I hope that made sense.
Yeah, no, that sounds really interesting. So basically your body kind of goes into like a fight, flight, or freeze mode, and then your body's you're kind of triggering your body to kind of activate the parasympathetic.
Yes, with the mindfulness and grounding, and
yeah, okay, that sounds really cool. Yeah,
it's so cool. This is all happening so quickly. So we already talked about this too, but why is it important to talk about this?
Well, I would say like mindfulness it's so important for stress reduction, as we've been saying, with like PTSD, with anxiety, with like negative mood states as well, and just for your emotional well-being as well. Like even if you don't have maybe like a mental health condition, or you don't maybe suffer from anxiety, I feel like we all deal with some amount of stress in our life, and just being able to give yourself these tools that you can access at any time to just kind of bring yourself back to the present moment, give yourself some time to make yourself feel more relaxed, and then that way you're able to attend to things more efficiently as well.
Yeah, totally. And there's been a lot of research out there that has consistently demonstrated that the effectiveness of like mindfulness training on stress reduction and reducing like negative mood states, like it's definitely helped with that. And then it improves like emotional well-being, of course, of life, and also individuals dealing with chronic physical illness, which is like interesting, right? So it really shows like connection of the body and mind as well. So
wow.
Yeah, it's really interesting.
That is interesting. And yeah, like you mentioned with like physical health, it's so cool that you can see like, if you're not feeling well physically, a lot of times it also has to do with your mental well-being as well. And that's why it's so important to keep that in check. And And then mindfulness, it's actually, there's been like over like 39 studies in like 2010, and they found that mindfulness is really important for like even cognitive therapy, and it's also just used in different clinics as well. And I did actually read somewhere that, like, it's been used even in companies like Google as well,
Oh, wow.
for their employees. Yeah, so it's something that's actually used by big companies that are very successful. So clearly there is some value to these techniques.
Yeah, totally. No, it is. And I know that you found some information about how like grounding specifically helps with a lot of like clinical issues and things like that.
It definitely does. Like, it helps reduce inflammation, reducing like cortisol, also just increasing your energy. Like, it, at the very least, it's giving you like some sort of immunity and some sort of strength to go about your day, increasing pain, and just kind of giving like a sense of like balance to your body. So
Nice.
if it can't make you like feel like, I don't know, improve your well-being, at least it's going to like add on to how you're already feeling and make you feel more positive as well.
Yeah, because this isn't just for people who are dealing with like major mental health challenges. It can be for anyone, maybe even wanting to just start their day right, with lots of energy and confidence and motivation. So so okay, we have a couple of grounding techniques, and these are ones that we have used with people. There's some that I do with myself already, and I find that they're really helpful. So let's go into it. Okay, maybe let's try on you, Sanjana. Okay, so the first type of grounding is visualization exercise. So visualization is like another tool to help you calm yourself and even make you feel more confident. So it involves like imagining something powerful in your head for a few minutes, and it kind of like distracts you from the state that you were in before, and usually it might be a very heightened, alarming state. There's different kinds of visualizations, but the one that I definitely do is like a mental vacation. Basically what it is it helps you feel calm and safe, and it's kind of like a place where there's no fears, and that's a place where you can't stress. So when you go there, you're like, I'm happy, like I'm good, I'm not going to feel stressed in this place. So there's that visualization, and literally you just close your eyes, and I'm just going to make this up on the spot. But where do you imagine your mental vacation being?
For me, I would imagine it kind of like like on a beach. There's the sunset and the water is calm. Yeah, and it's really peaceful. No homework.
Okay, and what are you doing? Where are you?
I'm just lying down on the sand.
Okay, are you by yourself or are you with someone?
No, just by myself.
Just by yourself. Are your eyes closed? Like your eyes are closed right now?
Oh, they're not. I shall get back to the place.
So your eyes are closed in this situation?
Yes.
Okay. Is the water touching your legs or any part of your body, or kind of far away from the water?
I'm a bit far away from the water.
Okay. Is it cold? Is the water cold? Can you feel the warmth or the coldness of the water?
Yeah, I can feel the warmth, definitely.
Okay. And is it a really hot day?
It's like a pretty nice warm day. I wouldn't say too hot or cold.
Okay. Is it in the morning? Is it in the day? Or is it at night?
It's kind of like maybe like at 4 p.m. or so, maybe in the evening.
Okay. So these are the kind of questions that, is really easy. Oh, you can open your eyes. So these are the questions it's really easy for someone to ask you, and you just answer them because you're like, okay, kind of have to, But if you're by yourself and, you really need a place to kind of calm down, those are the details that we're going to be looking at. those are the things that you're going to visualize. So are there sand between your toes, or are you kind of like on a towel? Like those are the things that you'll be focusing on when your eyes are closed. And make sure your eyes are closed, because all of your energy will be going into that visualization.
Wow. I did feel a bit calmer actually after doing that.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, it works.
Then, there was another one. Do you want to talk about this one, Sanjana?
Sure. Yeah. So the other one is kind of like the three senses.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just kind of helping you direct your thoughts more to, I guess, visualization and kind of understanding like the sounds that you hear, the sights, the touch, basically like the five senses.
Mm-hmm.
And basically just kind of helping you connect, I would say, with the present moment.
Mm-hmm.
And asking yourself these questions, or getting someone to ask you these questions. Yeah, so I can ask you these questions.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's do it. All right.
Yeah, so what are three things that you can hear?
Oh, I can hear your voice in my ears. Oh, I can hear the TV in the other room. I can hear cars out on the road.
Wow, perfect. And yeah, and what are some things that you can see?
There's a lot I can see. I can see you. I can see a computer screen. I can see a lamp. So there's a lot in my environment that I can. There's computer screen. Yeah.
Definitely. And then what are some things that you can actually feel around you?
I can feel. I have a blanket. It's a nice texture. It's warm. It's like a ceramic cup, and paper. So. And I'm feeling all of these. So I go in and touch all those things.
For sure. Yeah. And this is just one technique to kind of just help people just stay in the present moment, as mentioned. And yeah, it just seems like a nice way of kind of reminding yourself that, hey, I'm actually just in my room or in the living room or wherever I am, and that I don't have to carry my worries with me in this place.
Yeah, it's a really good way to kind of like refocus yourself and to really like appraise the situation. Like you said, like, oh, I'm actually just in my study, and that's all that if I focus enough on that, then everything else can it'll subside on its own, you know? So yeah, thank you so much for that. That was a really good way to, talk about the techniques. It's so easy. You don't have to you don't really need to have like a therapist or someone doing this with you, as long as you kind of know what you're doing and why you're doing it. I think that's where half the battle is. And then you have to be brave enough to try it, and it will work if you do it enough times. So we're towards the end of our show here. And I guess the reality is, I don't know if you want to do it, because you did so nicely. You sum it up so nicely.
Thank you so much. The reality of the situation is that, you can use mindfulness, and more specifically grounding, to really help take care of your mental well-being as well as your physical well-being, because they do correlate. And this does not mean that you are avoiding your problems, but you're just, acknowledging the fact that you can give yourself a break and relax. And this helps you with your anxiety or PTSD and stress. And it also is just a nice way to actually just start the day. That's the reality.
Very eloquently said. So yeah, I'm so happy we got to talk about this, because one of the insights that came out of this is like, yeah, you can do this in any state. You don't have to be in a state of like panic to do it. So yeah, let's normalize it. Let's just do it. Let's do it tomorrow morning. So anyways, thank you so much to everyone, to the viewers that keep tuning in every week to support us. Kosla, Simi, Dan, who so gratefully edits our shows. And we have some social media platforms where you can follow us.
Yeah, we do. We have Instagram at The Reality is Show, and we also have email. So do connect with us if you'd like to be a community member or a guest speaker. We're very friendly, and we
We
would
are.
love to have you on the show. I'm so biased. And yeah, our email is therealityshow@gmail.com.
Okay, well, that does it for us here at The Reality Is. Thank you so much for tuning in. Yeah, come join us next Thursday at 6 p.m. Get inspired.